when things are unexpected, it feels unsteady, which, makes you feel like anything can happen. But like almost like in a negative connotation of that word.
Right.
Where like the floor feels shaky and you're like, well, if I can just control something, I'll feel better.
Yeah.
Which isn't ever really true.
Right.
And the Lord knows that controlling something won't make you feel better.
Yeah.
But in the hard to change moments, the Lord definitely does shape your heart.
Absolutely. Welcome back to the Rooted Minds podcast, where we come together as a family to talk about books and our emotions. And in season 2 of this podcast, we're talking about some really interesting short stories. And today is a fun one for sure. We're talking about The Spot.
Yes.
That spot.
That spot.
Not the spot.
Yes, it is such a funny story. It's, it's about this, these two men that are in the gold rush times and are trying to, get gold because they think that that's going to change all their wealth. But they buy this dog, and obviously he has a spot on him. That's why he's called That Spot.
That Spot.
The dog's name is Spot.
Yes, the dog's name is Spot. And it's a beautiful dog. And they buy him, and they soon quickly discover that he does not like working at all. At all.
Not very good for the gold rush.
Their jobs.
That's true. That's true. He likes doing his own things in his own way. But they try to get him to pull the sled and do all these things, and he, pretends like he's limp or, does all these things to get out of work. But then, he just gets up and runs away. I mean, not runs away because they can't get rid of him. He is always with them. But he steals all of their food and convinces all the other dogs to steal all their food. And, he beats up the other dogs and
mess.
All of these things.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And there's so much that happens. And just as the journey continues, they just try thing after thing after thing to get rid of this dog. And he won't leave ever. They end up going honestly kind of crazy trying to get rid of this dog that is just keeps coming back and finding them, and they're always strangely impressed but also frustrated that they could, how did he know we were going to go here?
Yeah.
That's part of why they bought him in the first place, right? Because he was smart, he was good looking, seemed strong.
Exactly.
Perfect for a sled dog.
Yeah. And then one day, one of the partners, the narrator of the story, he escapes in the night and leaves the dog with his friend and runs away and builds his own life. And he was like, finally, I'm rid of that dog. And then the story ends with his friend, the one that he left the dog with, leaving Spot with him now in his house, the rows of houses kind of vibe in his backyard. And he's terrorizing the neighbors and all of these things. And so
Can't get rid of him.
Crazy. This feels like
Crazy
such a
story.
departure story for Jack London, though, because I feel like so many of his stories, like White Fang or To Build a Fire, are all about how man does not take nature seriously enough.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Except this one, he's telling the story with humor.
Right. And it is very funny.
Usually the stories are very bleak and very
That's good.
Yeah.
guy shouldn't have built a fire in the middle of negative 50 degrees weather under a tree
Did not go well.
that had snow that melted and killed his fire and he died. So yeah, this is a fun twist for
Yes.
Jack London.
Yes, there's a lot of humor involved. Why do you guys think the men found Spot so frustrating?
Well, they had expectations.
Yeah.
Which, it's interesting because they're prospectors, they're gold miners, and in the gold rush, this is the Yukon, up in the Canadian area where there's snow everywhere, and you have your sled dogs, and your life is in your sled dogs, and so you have to pick those well,
right?
And they thought they were making a really good deal.
Yeah,
they thought they were getting the best of the best, and they got
The worst.
A
of the
very
worst.
smart dog, just not
Yeah.
smart in the ways that they wanted him to be.
They got
So
that
true.
spot.
That's
They
what
got
I
that
was
spot.
Not smart and obedient.
No, right.
Okay, well then that kind of segues into like what qualities made Spot a survivor.
Well, the way that they describe him in the book is almost human. Like he keeps
Yes.
like just finding all these little schemes to avoid doing work, like pretending that he's limp or
Mm.
whatever it is to avoid work. And there's even a point where I think the narrator finally, like, they're going kind of crazy because they can't get rid of him, and they decide to take him out with a gun, like they're gonna kill him. And then he like looks into his eyes, into that Spot's eyes, and he just can't do it.
Yeah.
It's because the characteristic is like there's this like determination of like the way they describe it is almost like Spot is going like, do it, like I dare you.
Yes.
You won't.
You won't, and he doesn't.
It's true. It's so
Easy.
true.
He is very tough. This dog,
Mhm.
he's tough and strong, and he's persuasive. That is
Yeah.
like
hmm
in like the pack of dogs, like that. I don't know, culture of sled dogs. I guess
Yeah.
the way those families
Uh-huh.
works, the packs work. You
The
need,
dominant.
like the alpha.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I think, like, sure, Spot could survive on his own, but if he swings or sways the rest of the pack towards himself, then he has a lot more of a chance of surviving and making it. And I
Wow.
think that's like a element that makes him like
Interesting.
such a survivor, because he's like not only smart and able himself, but he's like smarter to think
Mm.
That's a
ahead,
good point.
kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Which
is-
is a good tracker too. Like
Yeah.
keeps finding him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. His sense of direction, or like sense of
Yeah.
ability to get back.
The homing
Mm.
device.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
that is in a dog, it's like, whoa,
Like a-
that was impressive.
Boomerang.
It's
or
kind of
something.
interesting because it's like there's almost, I don't know if it's like is it like a loyalty?
Mm.
Like, why does he keep coming back? That's something I couldn't quite figure
Well,
out.
I think
but-
they definitely offer food and shelter.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
true.
And like things that he needs that he doesn't have to work for.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right.
And so he plays them and gets what he wants, which makes him like very shrewd.
It's
Shrewd is a
true.
good word. Yeah.
It's true.
Because in that cold landscape, there's not much resources, and they have to like utilize it well, especially
Yeah.
if you go up into the mountains on an escapade.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I was thinking about this concept of, that Spot, there isn't ever a solution by the end of the story. Like he's still around and he's still like tormenting them.
Annoying. Yeah.
And so I was just thinking about like let's talk about just how do you come about like facing something that's unchangeable when you feel frustrated and it won't budge, like coming up
Mhm.
against something that you can't change.
I have
That's
an
good.
interesting little nature
Ooh,
conundrum.
nature conundrum. You like nature conundrums?
I think there's a bat that's somewhere
Oh,
outside my window. And every night this little thing comes out and starts squeaking,
that
Squeaking and
spot. I mean,
chirping
that.
chirping. And then I think of all the mosquitoes in my yard and I think, I want the bat to eat the mosquitoes. But how can I deal with the annoyance that I find whenever it gets dark and quiet and I'm ready to go to bed and I hear chirp, 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 chirp.
Yeah.
So there's a piece of it for me that has to like agree with the fact that this creature is uncontrollable
Mm.
and that it is a beneficial thing to me. But that so much of it is my preference of having quiet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's so
that's
true.
so interesting. And
Wow.
it's interesting because a lot like you said earlier, a lot of Jack London's stories are about man's inability to change nature. And this story almost just like takes that same message on like another spin where it's like it's not even the wild that's uncontrollable, but it's like one of the creatures they thought they could tame that is not able to be controlled, much like your bat.
Much like my bat.
So it's almost like going back to your question, like when there are things that we're facing that don't have a solution, your point is to say like maybe we need to relearn our perspective and finding something, finding the way that it is something we can be grateful for,
like
or
helping
or
else,
how it functions and what role it plays in the grand scheme of things.
And I think one of the things I heard too in what you were saying is that you had to recognize it as unchangeable, as something that you couldn't change yourself.
Yeah. So
like there's this moment of recognition, of realization. Okay, so, and that leads to this, it led to this perception change or perspective change. Like that's so helpful to me because there's so many things that we cannot change in our life.
And oftentimes we try to change it as many times as we can before we really come to the terms with, it can't be changed.
Yeah.
There's almost like a sense of like finding your agency again in that, and like your sense of
that's good.
I'm able to choose something, because it can feel really overwhelming when there's something, just anything, honestly, that's uncontrollable. You know, whether it's like the routine or, you know, the food you eat or, you know, there's anything, your relationship with someone else. And so there's like a sense of like, by accepting that you can't change it, then you can actually start to look at
sort of how do we work with this?
When you say find your agency, what do you mean by that?
Like your sense of like, I can do something in this situation.
I can choose. I can.
Yeah, I'm not helpless.
Like with my bat, I tried turning a light on at a spot far away from my bedroom window, thinking if I attract
draw the mosquitoes,
the bugs to a light, then the bat can go feed over there.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah.
It didn't really help.
Real.
It's a good thought though.
Yeah. Well, we know that feeling of just like working harder when like life won't budge. And I just wanted to talk about like just the concept of humor as a gift from the Lord, and, you know, discovering that like laughter can soften things that feel hard. So, was there a scene that like actually made you laugh? Like, and what did the laughter change about how you felt about the man's failure?
One of the scenes that made me laugh was one of the more climactic moments, I think. And it's because I think they see the spot like returning back, and he's like on this like ice river. And the ice like cracks and he falls through the ice into the water. And like the whole river gets like, you know, it reminds me of like Chronicles of Narnia scene where there's like all that ice like flowing down the river, and that's kind of what happens. And that spot gets swept into that. And so the men start like rejoicing because they're like, we're finally rid of him. But then it's just like a few days later, there he is, as if nothing happened, just sitting there. And so that made me laugh. It's like I kind of was like with them. I was like, whoa, is that actually the end of the spot?
Right.
It was not. He was just fine. He was just chilling.
It was not.
That's good.
How about you guys? Well, like personally, I thought one moment that was funny, it was kind of similar to that, was like they sold him to this shipping company, and he was on this boat, like, and he left. And he actually was like gone for like 3 weeks, which is the longest amount of time he had been gone. But then the guys who owns that spot now came to them, and they were like, we want you to take your dog back. And they were like, no, please, you know. But then they see him on the boat, and they hide behind this rock so that the dog won't see them because they're worried that like he'll come back. Anyways, I just thought that was so funny.
And that reminds me too, though, of the scheme that they came up with. Do you remember this? Where they like purposely like selling their dog so that the people would like sell it back to them because of how awful the dog was. And so they're like,
it would be returned.
Yes,
so they were
they-
making
they
money.
they're like,
money.
we will pay you to
Yeah.
take your dog back. And so they're like making profit off of like selling
Mhm.
their dog and then having people sell it back to them.
Literally. So funny. Yeah, I was thinking about like just the concept of, has there ever been a moment for you guys that humor helped you like breathe and stop like gripping so tightly in control? Like, was there a time that humor actually like softened the moment?
Absolutely. I love to laugh. I love to make jokes. I think I learned to make jokes at appropriate times, not just in times where I'm looking for like to easing of a moment. But that's always been like a safe space for me, like humor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like to take a break from being so serious and just
Yeah,
really,
or a moment that I can't control that's very serious.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
always a joke there.
It's
Let
true.
you ease a little bit of that or release a little bit of that built up tension
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
and channel it out in a healthy way, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's like an element of, I mean, when you're using humor in an appropriate way, you know, that like helps you know with the other person maybe that you're going through this moment with, that like things are going to be okay, because like in humor, obviously, like you smile and you laugh.
Yeah.
So there's like a sense of like, okay,
yeah.
maybe we're going to make it through this. You know?
Yeah, and for me, like I think sometimes when I'm like laughing in a time when everything feels hard, it like helps me remember hope, which helps me remember like, you know, faith that everything will be okay, like you're saying. And so I think joy is definitely an on-ramp for
Yeah.
getting
That's
back
good.
on to hope.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's good.
And like shaking off the
Mm.
tension or the need to control.
Yeah.
It like helps you transition into faith posture.
Yeah.
It does.
And reconnecting, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to like from here move to like, what does this mean? Like, you know, we have this frustration and we're learning to like laugh with it and you know, like not take it necessarily so seriously sometimes. And like, how do we move from frustration to trust in the Lord and in that, you know? Like, just like seeing God and allowing yourself to rely on Him in these moments where
Yeah.
things don't change.
Yeah.
Good question.
I was just thinking one of the things that we've done as a family before that has really helped is just playing a game.
Mm.
Playing a game together. It brings laughter. It brings, you know, that connection and takes the tension if there was any and helps to, you know, diminish it. However you say that, you know. So I was just thinking about that because sometimes, like me personally, I'm not like necessarily a joke teller, although, you know, sometimes I try. You know, it just doesn't land, and
It's okay.
which is totally fine. Just saying.
Still makes us laugh.
But activities like that have really, really helped when, you know, I have no jokes. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah. I think there's something about maybe this isn't quite humor, but more just like levity of like finding something that's life-giving in the midst of something that feels uncontrollable. Like I'm thinking about, there's this time when I got to go visit Israel and tour Israel.
Mm.
And it was a 2-week trip with my college. And at the very end of the trip, I got COVID. And this was 2022. And so in Israel at the time, it was like government mandate, like you have to quarantine if you get COVID. And
Yeah.
so I got COVID the last day of the trip, tested positive,
Super
and I had to
unfortunate.
quarantine, which, long story short, I spent an extra week in Israel quarantined in this hotel. And it was very frustrating, felt very uncontrollable, obviously, you can imagine. And at the same time, on top of that, my family was taking this other like trip we had planned that I was supposed to be a part of.
Yeah.
And so it was like disappointing that I couldn't make it back right away for the trip. And so what I ended up doing, though, which felt like a prompting from the Lord, was I started just taking that time to actually like consider the things that I'd seen in Israel, and I turned it into something creative and made like a little Bible study or devotional. Thank you.
Yes.
Devotional for my family as they're taking this trip, just like a little daily thing with some pictures I had taken. And so that helped me to like find joy in the middle of something that felt really uncontrollable, and for my heart to sort of like settle in to like it's going to be okay, and to know that I'm like going to make it on the other side of this hard moment, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
That's
that's
good.
so good.
So good.
And the devotionals were amazing.
They were
Thank you.
amazing. They were amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, the Lord, I think it's just I've seen him definitely like move in my life, and like things that I just want to hold on so tightly because I want the control of, you know,
Mhm.
like when things are unexpected, it feels unsteady, which, you know, makes you feel like anything can happen. But like
Yeah.
almost like in a negative connotation of that word,
Right.
where like the floor feels shaky and you're like, well, if I can just control something, I'll feel better,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which isn't ever really true,
Right.
you know? And the Lord knows that controlling something won't make you feel better.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, you know, in the hard to change moments, the Lord definitely does shape your heart and, you know,
Absolutely.
how you do things and how you
Yeah.
see things. And so,
Well,
Yeah.
a lot of insights to be gained from a very funny story. So go take some time to read the story. It will make you laugh. And comment your thoughts about it. We love to hear just what you think about these thoughts about our emotions and things that are uncontrollable. But otherwise, we'll see you next time. Thanks again for joining us on the Rooted Minds podcast. If you're enjoying the kinds of discussions we're having, consider joining our learning community, where we teach the arts and have many more discussions like these. But until next time, may you find joy, grace, and peace in the pages you turn.